think I had that stunt double slash plushie slash character from a completely different series that no one watches.
What the fuck, Boon?
Huh. Haven't had a character show up with theme music in a while.
You blew up fuck!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, come on, you know exactly which fuck I'm talking about.
What do I feel like this is the beginning of a Who's on First joke?
Nah, who's the building down the road? We're talking about fuck.
Is that the jail?
Of course it's a jail. You clearly didn't read the establishing shot text.
Oh, right. That. Yeah, I didn't do that. It was a weird Five Nights at Freddy's prop with sentience.
Who? They from Snake's Revenge?
I've never heard of that FNAF game.
I don't blame you. It's obscure.
Right, so where were we?
I forget.
Oh.
Want to do a co-op?
Sure.
Fuck that shit!
Wow, you have weird kinks.
Hey man! Play that beat!
I spit hot fire, call me Ryoichi. I spit hot fire, call me Ryoichi. I spit hot fire, call me Ryoichi. I spit hot fire. I spit hot fire.
And that's how you a fucking intro.
Okay, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to...
Shut the fuck up.
But context!
Jonah Smith, Sonic Ward, and Clown Dude covering some anime weeb shit. I don't fucking know. Let's go!
That a Mario Brothers?
Hell fucking yeah, it is.
Mario Brothers!
Where am I?
Ugh, where in the world? Ugh, this basement stinks.
Like you're fucking acting, bitch!
And presenting our commentary today with Jonah Smith, featuring Rainbow Dash and Patrick Star!
Look, I'm not normally one to go there, like, this quick, but seriously, you guys somehow make Tommy Wiseau look like Leonardo fucking DiCaprio.
I don't even like DeLoreans!
I see you to have woken up. Welcome to my weed palace.
Smoke, weed, every day.
My name is Jonah Smith, or as I like to call myself, the Chaos King.
Oh, bitch, please! How the fuck you gonna call yourself Chaos King? My last name is Chaos, motherfucking ass bitch, chain fuck! Oh, right, I almost forgot. Silver, remind me to call this my 1,000 subscriber special, because as we all know, making a video that's normally what you do and happens to be released at some point after you hit a subscriber threshold totally counts as a special in relation to that threshold.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this would be fine if you said something in the video about you reaching 50 subscribers. Which, low-key, isn't really worth celebrating, come on, dude. But, I mean, you don't. On that note, Chaos King. Really? Well, let me paint a scenario. Chaos King and Chaos Key walk into the Chaos Theater. Fucking blows up, the end.
That's morbid. And also Boon Cannon 33 with different characters, you fucking ripoff.
Well, I mean, stick with what you know.
Now bow.
Dang, today's gonna be crazy, huh?
Holy shit, they really are on weed.
Dude. Totally in my zone right now.
You let him into a sound!
Buy my shirts.
A basement in Eastern Europe? Maybe Bulgaria, because oh boy, it stinks like fermenting milk and ugh, sweat!
No, you're just in a basement, where you'll be forced to live your pitiful little lives. Well, unless you do me a favor, that is.
How about you let us go and I won't whoop your ass?
Did you seriously just censor the word ass? Ass!
Ass.
Not now, Doodle!
Oh, I'm sorry, my little commentator, but that's just impossible. I'm immortal. Another one tried earlier, but he failed.
Wow, I never thought I'd encounter someone so incompetent at telling a story that I find a major logical inconsistency within the first minute of the story. So, when did Clown Dude threaten to kill you exactly? Yeah, he said he was gonna whip your ass. But newsflash, you don't have to die in order to get your ass kicked. You just have to get your ass kicked. I mean, you do realize that death and losing a fight are two different things, right? Or have you not actually watched the anime? You're pulling your ass. I was gonna say Avatar there. The one you're pulling your avatar from.
Not just that, but considering, Jonah, that this is being hosted on your channel, meaning that people are going to primarily see you on your channel, that means that you are, for all intents and purposes, the main character of the story. And making yourself immortal and, judging from how you delivered this line, all-powerful, really doesn't work in a storytelling sense. There are ways to make it work, mind you, but the way you deliver your line and play this 100% straight comes off as, well, a Gary Stew. Maybe that was the intention a la One Punch Man, but again, you're playing this straight. One Punch Man works because, well, it doesn't play it straight. I mean, motherfucker's bald. You gonna take him seriously?
Is this Highlander? There can be only one!
Okay, I'm confused. Why did you capture us?
One of you to join me for a little job. You'll be rewarded handsomely. You'll be able to keep your lives.
I don't really kill people, but I guess I have no choice.
Who said anything about killing?
You did. Just now. Concerning you, killing them. I hate...
Alright, that's going down. Sonic Ward, you kinda just became okay with the idea of murder after mentioning not killing anyone. Fuck, I didn't think Sean fucked you over that bad.
Ayo, Silver, you ever murdered a bitch before?
Well, no, but I'd be willing if I had to.
Who said anything about fucking killing anyone, you stupid nit?
We're going after a target named Goku T23. He made a particularly bad video on his top 10 most hated anime characters, and obviously was pretty bad. Well, since it's a video on anime, I might as well switch up your two avatars real quick.
So long as it's not Love Life shit, I'm okay with it.
Oh, how I wish I had now. You tick me off so much. But here's something a little different.
I'm a pony? Yay!
My Little Pony? That's my favorite fucking anime!
I'm just gonna call this out now because I want to speed this thing along to give myself plenty of time after this to crawl in the hole and die. You're using an anime avatar, and you changed Sonic Ward into an anime avatar. So why does Clown Dude have an MLP avatar instead? You may as well just left him as Patrick Star in that case, because I'm not sure if you noticed, but MLT doesn't use the style associated with Japanese animation, nor is it actually Japanese in and of itself. This could work too! Change Sonic Ward first to establish the Naruto character pattern, and then have Clown Dude expect similar treatment only to get a pony instead. It would have almost been funny. Also, Silver, we all know that NCIS is the superior anime.
You've never seen Law and Order.
I don't know what Law and Order is! How the fuck did you get here?
Odd. Most people be cringing by now.
So let me guess. I'll be Hinata? Lucky guess.
Huh. You wish I was making you the best female Naruto character.
No! I hate Sakura! I want to be Hinata!
Guys, I'm so angry at the fact that my avatar is Yoon from Street Fighter right now, you have no idea. Choke on vomit!
I'm the best waifu on the Disney Channel!
Okay, are we not going to address these random people showing up out of nowhere?
Probably best not to think too hard about it.
Did somebody say out of nowhere?
Anyway, this skit's gone on for long enough, so cue the intro and let's delve straight into chaos.
Straight into your mom's vagina.
Straight into chaos! I'm so intimidating!
Okay, before I let Silver infect my channel with CinemaSins, because holy fuck do you deserve it so hard right now? Quotation mark. That's not. It's not.
Let's fucking roll. Comment those avatar sets all have backgrounds behind them. Pick some PNGs that don't have backgrounds and it won't look like ass. Ah, wait. Shit.
Ass.
You're syncing as shit. Like, Skeleton Nation did a better job syncing in his first fucking commentary. Feels like you add in avatar images at random rather than in time with the music, and it's distracting as hell. Outline your text. Clown's name is shown on the second avatar picture showing up, but then disappears when his third one shows up. Grade A image editing there. The intro music is shown before Sonic Ward is introduced, because that makes sense, I think, right? The music fades out before the intro does. Fucking cool, I guess. The aforementioned apostrophe.
Okay, I was kind of joking about the whole CinemaSins thing. Silver, I hate you for making me edit this shit. Fuck you with a spoon. Goddamn piece of shit.
Who are the top 10 most hated and annoying anime characters that you don't like of all time?
Okay, can I laugh for a second of how stupid this wording is? Top 10 most hated and annoying anime characters who I don't like. This is so redundant. You could have easily made it top 10 anime characters I don't like and leave it at that.
First of all, he said you don't like them, which kind of creates its own problems, but what the fuck ever. But yeah, sure, okay, you might have a point if he actually named the video that way. He's describing the concept of hating a character, dude bro man guy person. There's gonna be a bit of redundancy there. To just say, these are 10 characters I don't like, pizza sandwich, let's do it, would be a far less engaging way to introduce the video.
Not just that, but it's not that redundant. Another thing, hated and annoying are two different things. Yeah, someone can annoy you, and that's an effective reason to hate them, but you can hate someone for reasons other than annoyance. For instance, scrambled eggs. I hate scrambled eggs. Not because they annoy me, but because I fucking vomit every time I eat them. Get the picture?
I wish I didn't get the picture.
I wish I didn't get the eggs.
Gray Full Buster from Fairy Tail. I honestly don't like Gray. Like, my opinion, he pisses me off. He's like the worst character in Fairy Tail. This guy's a bit too cocky, and it's because of this idiot, poor Ur had to die. But when it comes down to it, I'm not a fan of Gray. Like, don't get me wrong, he is pretty strong. You know, he's pretty skillful. He's good at what he's doing with his ice make and all that. But I just don't like his characteristic, his personality. It's just not my thing. It's the reason why he's inside this list. And now we found out Natsu's END, so I'm wondering what will be Gray's reaction. Will Gray accept the fact that his best friend's END, or is he going to go turn against his best friend? If Gray goes and turns against his best friend, then I'm going to definitely make Gray go higher in this list. But until then, he is placed right here.
Okay, how is Gray cocky? Who's poor Or, and why should we care that poor Or is dead? In the words of the nostalgia critic, explain!
Stop screaming, please. Not because it hurts my ears. You're just bad at it.
Were you not paying attention to him bringing up just fucking now that Gray's the reason this character died? Yeah, that explains a lot of the shit he doesn't like, now doesn't it? As for him saying that the cocky attitude wasn't his thing, not only do I really not like it when someone asks for evidence of not liking a fucking personality trait, put 2 and 2 together. Gray was responsible for getting someone killed, and Gokut is calling him cocky. Why do you think that he got someone killed?
Also, here's something that'll come back to bite him in the ass. Not explaining terms. What does D&D mean? Dicks and ducks? It's so vague, and if I have to look it up, then you're not doing your job as a presenter right.
Dungeons and Dragons.
What he actually said was the END. Look, yeah, he could have enunciated that better, but just to clarify, that's the END. There's plenty of fucking reason why Natsu being the END is relevant. Thanks for the spoiler warning, by the way, you giant gaggle of chuckle fucks. Which basically comes down to you complaining about someone talking about an anime you haven't watched because you don't know the terminology. He explained enough to give you the concept of why he doesn't like the character. You don't need to know what color his ball hair is.
Also, whoever the editor is, look, the way you're popping the image to accentuate Clown Dude's word, it's actually hurting my eyes. Popping the image like this requires you to zoom in on the image, then only zoom out a tiny bit just after. It looks cleaner and you still get the desired effect, but you're only zooming in and then quickly restoring the image, which, again, looks painful.
Doesn't help that you do this with the fucking white-ass horse, you fucking fucklechuck.
Fucklechuck? Really? So you have just enough shame to not have any shame at all, then?
Lick, lick, lick my butt!
No, Colin, you said END, and don't ask me what that is. That's a major plot point in Fairy Tail, and he basically spoiled it to his audience.
Oh, but, you know, you didn't.
Right, remember what I was saying about a spoiler warning? Yeah, that's on you here too, buddy. And since you just said it's a spoiler, you literally gave the warning you needed in order to properly explain it with a far lower risk of anyone who doesn't want Fairy Tail spoiled getting it spoiled for them. And you know what you still refuse to do? Explain it. And you know what the worst part is about all that? You let Clown Dude get onto him for not explaining things, only completely negate everything your co-op partner said by explaining the exact reason why he would not elaborate further. You guys should probably work on your points being more coherent with each other if you're ever gonna do this shit again.
Or you could just, you know, have this in anyway and blame your co-op partner in a later video. Think I forgot yo shit, Sonic Wild?
Few problems with this section here. First, you're assuming that everybody's going to know what you're talking about, when I'm betting a lot of your viewers haven't read Fairy Tail. Second, your footage. You talk off about Old dying, and yet don't show any footage of that happening. Is it that hard to find Fairy Tail footage online? Really?
Wait, so you're getting onto him as well for not giving overt spoilers? When you just got onto him for giving overt spoilers? and then ask him to show more overt spoilers, thus making it harder for someone to skim through the video to his number 9 segment without getting spoiled? Yeah, he does tell you the name of the anime at the beginning of the segment, so hear me out here. So let's say I'm watching the video, and I'm not sure whether there are spoilers or not. I hear the character's name and the name of the anime at the beginning of the entry, and I go, oh wait, shit, I haven't seen this yet. Maybe I should skip this segment. So I start scrubbing through, trying to find the point where the number 10 segment ends. Oops, why not being shown this character fucking died? Yeah, adding a visual indicator of the spoiler you're complaining about actually makes the spoiler far more exposed than it otherwise would be.
Not to mention, sure, it's possible that not everyone in Go-Cut's fanbase have watched Fairy Tail. It is, however, unlikely, and not too damaging to the video overall. Look, Jonah, Fairy Tail's popular. Fairy Tail is really popular. Maybe not on the same level as Naruto or Dragon Ball, but to give you some perspective, IMDb gives Fairy Tail a collective score of 8.2 out of 13,372 votes, with 40% of them being a perfect 10. Not only that, but let's look at another website, MyAnimeList. MyAnimeList's most popular anime, to give perspective, is Death Note, which has 1,164,722 people who have it listed as their favorite anime. Fairy Tail is listed as number 18, with 667,579 members. Basically...
Yeah, it's fucking popular.
As a guy who barely knows about Gary or the anime itself, you really didn't explain why it's a bad thing for him to turn against his friend.
You don't explain why him betraying his friend is a bad thing. You know, as if betrayal isn't typically a bad thing. I don't know, how appropriate is it that Sonic Ward is saying this?
Hey guys, I just want to apologize for the whole trying to break your back thing. That was rude of me, and I didn't have my coffee, and I guess betraying you was a really bad thing to do.
Not according to that hoe over there!
Well, in that case...
No, stop. That was a joke! Ah!
Look, man, all I'm saying is I'll stop with the jokes once they stop being funny, you feel me?
My anus is bleeding!
You know, I haven't done anything yet, right?
Yeah, I'll figure that out next interjection. Give him time.
I'm just confused in the dark.
Of course you're in a dark ward. You're in a basement, where nobody can possibly find you.
But there's a light fixture in the basement! It's right behind you!
This is a situation in which black borders would actually matter for the narrative of your video. I want to die.
Oh, so it's cool when you want to die?
Yes! Did somebody say...
We got Blackbeard.
And of course there's a black character on this list. You racist filth! I will feed you to the Oh, wait.
That joke was terrible. Here's a black loaf of bread. This is the joke you were supposed to make. Jump off a tree and execute a proper 3-point landing before running into the house and pouring a glass of milk, only to realize that it's not past the expiration date whatsoever, but then spill a singular fucking drop when you stub your toe in hell!
Your joke is shit.
This guy really pissed me off. He's the reason why Fire Fist Ace has died. He first betrays Whitebeard's pirate, and then he goes and captures Ace.
I'm sorry, but who's Ace? Is he an important character to the series?
Luffy's goddamn older brother! Thanks for making me actually use my spoiler warning. Fucking both of you.
Alright, now's probably good. Jonah, and basically any low-tier commentator watching this, because I'm seeing this problem happen a lot recently, a message.
Explain more is not in of itself enough to warrant a fucking commentary.
Why exactly does Go-Cut need to explain who Ace is? All you need to know is that he betrayed someone called Wonder Bread, who we can assume is probably more important because his betrayal was mentioned, and he killed Ace, who must also be important to the story because Go-Cut at least mentioned him. You want to do this point right? Look, an example. If Go-Cut said something like, ugh, I hate Black Bread because he's bad and evil and bad and stuff, then yeah, you'd have a point because he's not going into detail as to why he hates him. But here, you're asking for a goddamn plot synopsis when that shouldn't be necessary.
Small reminder, by the way, you're doing this after getting onto him for giving spoilers. How the fuck can he go into detail without giving spoilers, you chuckle fuck of the most extreme variant of chuckle fuckery known in all of chuckle fuckdom? I think I'm running that into the ground a bit.
Aw, but how are you running that into the ground, Boon? You need to explain!
I thought running things into the ground was my job.
Explain!
Is there a character called King in Spades?
Why does it matter that he betrayed Whitebeard's pirates? Are the Whitebeard pirates good guys or are they bad guys? Why does it matter? Explain, motherfucker!
You are so goddamn stupid if you don't understand the basic concept of who Wonder Bread's pirates are that I could drive a truck through the crevice where your brain would go. Here's the basic gist. He's saying the fact that Blackbread betrayed Wonder Bread's pirates is something that makes him one of the most hated characters in all of anime. Now ask yourself this, and I know this is gonna take a little bit of brain power, but try to follow along. Would it be more likely that Wonder Bread's pirates are good guys or bad guys if someone betraying them makes him hateable? This is the second commentary in a row that I've done where people have no concept of context to speak of. Further elaboration is not needed here because he's telling you the exact act that causes him to hate Blackbread.
I'm hungry.
Well, we're on Namek. Bound to be some cabbage somewhere.
You mean I can cook a Cabbage Patch Kid?
And hand him over to the government just so that he could get the rank of the warlord. And that really pisses me off. I hope Luffy could one day deck him hard. I like to see this guy be out of the show. He's a really pissed off character and his personality doesn't piss off too. All we do is see him laugh there. Like, honestly, bro, you need to get decked.
So because Blackbeard laughs a lot, it makes him a terrible character. You know who else laughed a lot in One Piece? Luffy and Buggy, two of the most liked characters in the whole entire series.
Terrible and hated are not the same word. You can admit that a character is a good character while still hating the ever-loving Jesus out of them. And on top of that, his statement is indicative of a lack of emotional range from Blackbread's character, which can be really fucking annoying, as opposed to Luffy and Buggy, who do show emotional range throughout the series, even if they are more often of a jolly predisposition. And on top of that, the laughing thing? Yeah, that came after a phrase that is commonly attributed to indication that this isn't really the main point, but is something that adds to one's opinion. That phrase being, on top of that. You played all of his main reasoning, while barely addressing any of it as either positive or negative. So I would think that you'd pay enough attention to know that the 3 seconds at the end of him talking about how he laughs constantly isn't even a central complaint, and therefore bringing up other characters that also laugh a lot in no way addresses why his hatred of Blackbread is based on false information, which is what you're supposed to be doing right now!
We got Scythe Master from Phantom, Queen for the Phantom. This guy is another piss off character. All he does is like to start fight. This guy is an old man who pretty much captures new people and he brainwashes them to join his side so he could pretty much use them as his pawn, as they call him Master. He turns them into Phantom. He tried doing that with Reiji and Eren, but they broke through it as they were trying to run away from Inferno, but this guy went and captured Cal. What made me hate him the most is because of him, Cal died. If he wasn't such an active guy, Cal would have been alive, but he had to go and brainwash Cal, which really pissed me off about him.
So he brainwashes people so they can join his side, and he makes people fight. Isn't that what a villain is supposed to do? Get people on their side and make people fight? It just means he's a good villain.
Because no one is ever allowed to hate a villain, right?
Well, I don't hate villains.
You are a villain.
Details.
Seriously, did we just collectively forget what the video is called? I mean, the footage you showed hasn't said that Scythe Master is a bad character from a narrative standpoint. He just doesn't like him. He wouldn't go to a bar and get a drink with him. That's kind of fair to hate a character for that. It's not even disorganized because the other characters were also despicable who were on the list for being despicable. It's like me hating someone like, let's say, Emperor Frieza.
Wow, isn't that appropriate?
I think Frieza is one of the most evil tyrants in the galaxy whose maliciousness knows no bounds. He's an extremely effective villain who I'm supposed to hate, and therefore, I do. That's probably the same case with Go-Cut over here. Fucking Orochimaru ripoff?
Silver, you clearly do not understand how Orochimaru's immortality works. Let me explain. Did somebody say Orochimaru ripoff?
Also, why does it matter that another unknown character died?
Holy shit, someone died!
Who cares?
I mean, I killed that homeless guy in the Wendy's parking lot. Nobody seemed to care.
There's a Wendy's on Namek?!
So because he made people fight, that makes him bad. Okay then, I guess Obama and every other president we've had is bad because they made people go to war. Boo you guys, you suck.
Right. Every president goes to war. All of them. And they do nothing but go to war. And their only fucking job is to go to war. Eat a Namekian cactus.
We got Noritora from Bleach. This man honestly needs to get laid. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Poor Nelia, for no reason, with all his passion and guts. Like, just because she's a female, she's stronger, he thinks that girl shouldn't be any stronger, and that guy's only the one that's strong. And because of that hatred, he tried to do everything he can to kill Nelia. He even managed to break her skull and make her transform to a kid. And he still continues to hate her. And seeing that just mainly got me pissed off, and I was really happy when Kenpachi came and fought him. Kenpachi really decked the crap out of him, and he made him learn some lesson as he killed him. Like, honestly, Naruto needs to get laid.
Okay, this isn't a problem with your point, it's more your presentation. First, I notice you like to speak a lot, and that's fine. That can be a problem when you want to get a point across. I swear, the first time I heard this, I thought you said you wanted to hear him get laid.
Which, that is actually what he said, so, you know, this confusion doesn't exist. Cool. Awesome.
I'm sorry. What? I thought you want the bad guy to suffer. Also, can you think of any other word to use besides deck? You're becoming as dumb as the clown behind me.
All this Wendy's has is fucking cabbage! Also, what the fuck is wrong with Deck? You want a fucking duel?
He doesn't even say the word that often. I've literally said the word chucklefuck more often than this commentary already than he said the word deck.
Go! Blue Peeps Whitey Dragon!
The Blue Peeps Honky Dragon!
Blue Peeps Ultimate Honky Tonky Dragonky!
So, what was the point of that exactly?
I'm Randy Orton.
Why, you ugly gem-ass motherfucking Junko Inishima looking Danganronpa bullshit looking trash can motherfucker!
You can tell how angry I am because they had to censor some of the words that I say. What an asshole.
You horse fucking, Luna licking, conclusion jumping, dumb cucking, ace attorney looking, fidget spinning, exposure paying, useless ass knight of fucking canter lot! Sit down and leave the one-liners to me!
You chucklefuck.
I will!
Wait, I haven't used Junko yet. How do you know about that?
I can read minds.
Okay then, what's Ward thinking of right now?
Rape! 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 Rape!
Did somebody say, okay, wow, no, we are not going there.
We got Yamazaki. Now, the reason why I hate this character is because, yeah, right, you're perverted, you make the show funny, but stop being Saito. Each time Sato and Misaki hangs out, he always comes out of nowhere to ruin the moment. He's always there, and he's saying, oh, you're not gonna leave my side, Sato, we have to finish this game, and whenever they're about to do something, he comes, and because of Yamazaki, Sato pretty much starts to not love Misaki. Otherwise, he had a big love for her, a huge heart for her, but then later on, Yamasaki started putting his head in, oh, you shouldn't trust girls are like that, but yet this idiot likes girls himself, so he tried to pretty much play with Sato's head. It's the reason why I really don't like this guy.
Damn, he's essentially saying character development is bad. Spurku T, if we didn't have developed characters, they'd be flat characters. Hence, we'd have a boring story with boring flat characters.
Because, you know, it's not possible that he didn't like the way in which Yamazaki's character developed, or even that his first impression of the character left a bad taste in his mouth. Nope, he's saying that he didn't like the character development in one instance, so therefore it applies to all instances of character development.
Painful memories of the co-op. You guys are committing a straw man so hard that honestly, there's just a giant field of straw outside your basement, you fucking hikikomoris. You've been shoving words into this guy's mouth saying, so you hate him for this, then? When no, that's not the case. And you'd catch that if you just paid attention. How about instead of arguing that he's saying something in particular, as in straw manning, you actually touch on the reasons? Please.
Can I nitpick here? You're talking so fast that you make Porky the Pig sound decent.
Well, that was brief. Hey, look, another Dragon Ball reference.
Oh, so you want to complain about him talking fast, do you? You can't understand him because of his speed? First of all, Porky Pig stutters. It's not how fast he talks. Your comparison is completely null and void. And second, Silver drop a beat.
No.
Oh.
I'll leave.
We got Danzo. He's the main reason why he forced Itachi to kill the entire Uchiha clan. On top of that, he goes and steals every Uchiha's eyes. This guy needs to get decked, and it's a good thing Sasuke killed him. Sasuke handled him good, and he did all that just so he could become the Hokage. Like, honestly, bro, chill. The hell's your problem? And not just me, I'm pretty sure everybody hates Danzo. This guy, he's a big piss up.
Can you guys take over this real quick? I was going to comment on this, but I'm overwhelmed by stupidity. I'm just gonna lie down in the corner right here. Don't try to escape. You'll still die.
Oh man, you certainly sound in pain. Man, just look at you. You're in so much fucking wow. This guy must really be fucking stupid. Holy fuck nuggets, call the paramedicals.
I am in excruciating pain! Someone please call 911 before I die!
Joke's on you, I'm already dead inside.
Does everyone in Boon Cannon have some kind of depressing backstory that I don't know about?
Do you?
Dude, are you stupid? Danzo is pretty much doing his job. Are you saying that we don't need bad guys in Naruto? This guy must be crazy or something.
On that note, imagine Naruto if Danzo never exists.
No! You left! Stay gone! Bad dog! Shame on you!
Would Sasuke have any reason to go after the Hidden Leaf? The answer is no, because Danzo was basically the entire stepping stone to Sasuke's character arc.
What really got under my skin is that Goku T whatever explained what Danzo's character is, so why is he complaining?
Because he does not like him, I push my fingers into my eyes!
You missed a T in the script.
Also, he never said Danzo was bad and we've been over this. This is why you were abandoned by your dog parents.
We got Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, I barely know anything about this anime. Take over, clown, and try to make it metal.
Because fuck research!
Your puns make me want to punch cute small things. I'm gonna go stab an Ewok.
We're not even on Endor!
I'll kick your Endor!
Oh, that was lame.
You guys know who he is. This guy was the biggest jerk. He killed his daughter. He killed his wife. Like, he just thinks for himself. Like, you know, he's a very selfish man who only cares for himself. And he uses code, the survival of the fittest, where he's the only one who can survive because he's strong. But when it comes out to it, you can never trust this guy. He's a snake.
Another villain being a villain. Is this guy Mr. Enter 2.4?
Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside.
I made this commentary more metal simply by quoting Slipknot than you did with your entire lazily edited clip. Seriously, what the fuck is this even supposed to represent? Are you spinning the room around? Why the fuck? How the fuck? What is the purpose? How does this serve the narrative?
Oh my god. The man fucking fused his dog with his fucking daughter just so he can keep his job as a fucking scientist! How is he not allowed to hate him? Not just that, but this was like the one point where you could have actually gotten onto him for not explaining something. Sure, it's a spoiler, but Fullmetal Alchemist is even more popular than Fairy Tail, and plenty of people know just what Shao Tucker did. So explaining his Chimera experiment would have strengthened his point, but nope, let's just get on to him for saying that a villain was bad just because he's a villain when he never said that. Boy, yo, I am to smarts!
We need to end this interjection now.
He's the villain! So of course, he's gonna do evil things like being a snake. Also, you showed the wrong footage! Fuck, do you make sense?
Did he? I'm confused. I've seen that scene before, and Shao is still the type of ends justifies the means kind of guy, and Goku describes him as, so... Fucking... Randy, interject for me.
Well, I mean, didn't they get onto him for not showing the exact scene he's describing earlier? Could that be it? Did you just make a point? Like I always say, out of nowhere.
You have a vagina!
Sakura. Now, Sakura is, you know, she's a crybaby. She pretty much doesn't care for Naruto. Naruto did everything he can to help her out, but she doesn't show one bit of feeling towards him. She's like, ah, you're my friend. Like, come on, you knew Naruto loves you. And what really pissed me off was that she tried to go and say to Naruto that she loves him just so he could stop seeking over Sasuke to get him back. Like, she pretended to play with his feelings, but Naruto was smart. He knew that she was lying, but that really pissed him off too. Like, yo, girl, what the hell are you doing? Naruto did, and there's a lot more between Naruto and her, but she still didn't like him. She's still into Sasuke, and all she does is cry. She says she's a crybaby too, is the reason why I really don't like Sakura, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people could relate with this topic. They do not like Sakura.
Okay, so because Sakura told Naruto to search for Sasuke, that makes her bad. Hey Ward, care to describe why this is such terrible logic?
I feel that you don't understand why that had to happen. She was trying to make Naruto stop chasing after Sasuke because Naruto has been chasing after him for a very long time. So what you're saying is that Sakura can't stop Naruto from being an idiot? Sakura was trying to take the responsibilities and move on from Sasuke, and she was trying to get Naruto into doing the same thing.
Holy shit, you actually explain what the problem with this point is!
And here I thought miracles couldn't happen. I knew it. We found it. The rainbow connection. The lovers. The dreamers. And me.
This video may have hope after all!
That'll probably get dashed in a few seconds.
Yeah, probably.
So Sakura's a crybaby, you say. And you say we're showing footage of Sakura fighting Sasori, one of the strongest members in the Naruto continuity. I don't see her crying, I see her smiling or taking a blade to the gut.
Which is something that's actually not showing in his footage, so what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, you can still kick a villain's ass and be a crybaby at the same time. Crybaby doesn't mean physically weak. It means frequent crier, please acquire tissues.
And she's one of the strongest members of Naruto's team, you say? Interesting fascination. Is that why she's practically useless after the Gara retrieval arc? And before the Gara retrieval arc? Now, of course, you don't need to be a strong character to be an interesting character, and a character who is, as Go-Cut put it, a crybaby, can still have a lot of depth to them if they're presented correctly. But that certainly doesn't mean that these aren't traits that can make someone hate a character. Allow me to provide an example in Sakura's case. My personal opinion is that Sakura is kind of a whiny brat that basically gets handed the little bit of power that she does obtain, rather than having to work for it like most of the other characters do. That being said, the emotional significance of a couple of scenes in the Chunin exam arcs stand out to me. The first is the famous haircutting scene, which I know most people treat as a joke, but it does a good job of providing a visual representation of her letting go of her vanity, even if only a little bit. The second is her fight with Ino, because it showed that, at the very least at the Chunin exam level, she was capable of at least holding her own. Note how I like these two developments in the character, and yet I still dislike the character overall. Funny, it's almost like Goku's list is about the same thing.
I mean, I would have been fine with this if you had been talking about pre-Shippuden Naruto, but no, you're focusing on Shippuden in general.
I might hate Sakura, but even I know she could take care of herself. Most of the time.
First off, he said Sakura from Naruto when he was clearly mentioning Sakura in general. The footage he gathered might have been from Shippuden, and yeah, I agree it would have made his point stronger if he gathered footage of Sakura in tears, be it from Shippuden or otherwise. But if he wanted to specify Shippuden, he would have noted that in his number mark. Second, there are moments in Shippuden where Sakura cries. What about when Naruto is in his four-tail form fighting Orochimaru and losing control of himself? I remember her crying there. What about when she's confessing to Naruto to get him to stop chasing Sasuke? A scene you bring up earlier! Hell, what about moments when she's not necessarily crying, but is clearly extremely forlorn and sad? Yeah, Sakura is less sad in Shippuden than in the original Naruto, but that's kind of to be expected. It doesn't mean she's flat out not a crybaby, it just means she's kind of less of one.
Can I be Hinata now?
No, now quit asking or else.
Or else what?
Nothing really. Just be forced to listen to one of Ryan's mixtapes.
You wouldn't dare!
God, Jonah, have a heart.
Mr. Smith, you have no idea what true torture is! Prepare for the goddamn atomic bomb!
I would dare. Do you really want to risk that?
I don't want to make you mad. Considering the fact that you can change my avatar, I'll be on the safe side.
Wow, okay, the narrative problems are back. So he already threatened you, and you still felt the need to come up with a different reason to feel threatened by him? Way to take the teeth out of the way he was already planning on torturing you. Fucking ass.
We got Pan from Dragon Ball GT. I really don't like this girl. She is the most annoyingest character I have ever seen inside the Dragon Ball series. Like, Chi-Chi was inside of this, but after seeing someone like Pan, she deserves to be in this list, not Chi-Chi, because she is just so annoying, and on top of that, she has a lot of attitude towards her own grandpa. Like, come on. Just because Goku's a kid, it doesn't mean you should show your grandpa attitude. And on top of that, she's just such a piss-off character. Her voice is very annoying too, and a lot of people out there will agree with me that Pan is by far the most annoyingest character. The reason why I really don't like her is the reason why she's inside this list.
Okay, you do know Pan is a kid, right? So of course, she'll show attitude and be annoying. Kids do show attitude when they think they're right. Also, why not show footage where she's being annoying?
He is mother
Yeah, having actually watched GT, this is the part where you all feel sorry for me, I can honestly say that every scene he's showing is Pan having an attitude with her grandfather and or being annoying. And one of them is all of the characters being annoying.
Hey, you know what'd be more annoying? Having random side characters show up out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it this time. Go fuck yourselves.
Instead, you mostly show her fight. But wait, he shows Pan talking, but the footage has no audio, so we can't tell if Pan is showing any attitude.
Silly Goku. Everybody knows Pan isn't the worst female character. That would be Chaozu.
He's so bad that one of his moves can actually kill himself.
Silver?
Man, it's not like Chaozu doesn't know how to fly, Dodonray, how to fight in general, only uses a suicide tactic as a last fucking resort!
Where'd that table come from?
My office.
The hatred you once felt is nothing compared to what I'm feeling.
Okay, putting aside how you just started doing this for your interviews, I have to ask, why are you using footage from the Naruto Storm games? It's a mixtape, yes, but it shows how little effort you put into this video. If you were any lazier, I'd be forced to paint whiskers on you and call you Garfield. Only I'd be Odie and kicking you off your moral high table.
What does it matter? It's the same character either way, and the Storm games closely follow the story of the anime. Ah!
You have a vagina!
This one gets to me every time. That is, we got Rana Lynchin from Freezing. I think she's the #1 most hated character. She really pisses me off. Why? She's not just what she is, because what she does. She's the biggest CB character of all time. Each time Kazuha and Satelliter gets together to do the baptism, she always comes and proves it. There's one moment of the chapter manga where Satelliter's ready to do baptism with Kazuha. Baptism pretty much something where you let go of your body and let your partner and you share your bond by sleeping together. So when she decided that Kazuha sleep with her after so long, he was ready all day and she went to the shower, she comes out, you see Kazuha saying, okay, I'm scared, so maybe after the partner, but turns out it was Rana who did that. She captured Kazuha and she made Satelliter act like an idiot just so they don't sleep together. And each time Kazuha and Satelliter relationship kicks up, she comes in and reveals, oh, Kazuha, maybe don't get much. She's like, you said to love it, Satelliter's like, yeah, she's still the girl, so make like, stop forcing yourself to I'm okay, the family is, she's the family lady, she's the one who sees like, I respect she's the one,
So, because she stops 2 random characters from fucking, she's the worst. Again, why should we care if the other random characters aren't explained? Also, how fucking Orwellian of you. Just because you have an opinion about a character doesn't mean that others will share that opinion.
I think you just did your own final thoughts in your own fucking commentary. In a single sentence. Good. He says during his introduction of the topic that he's expressing his own opinion on these characters and that he would like to know other people's opinions in the comments. You saying he's treating his opinion as fact is you literally putting words in his mouth. There may have been 1 or 2 points during this video where you actually say things that indicate why characters have good reasons for their actions that probably shouldn't make him hate them. Sure, but at the end of the day, most of this video is still you debunking an opinion with an opinion. This is why most countdowns do not make good commentary material, because unless they actually got information wrong, or based what they were saying on an omission of information, or had criteria that contradicted itself, something like that, then really all you can do is disagree.
Also, your outro is shit. Jonah, you're a terrible fucking psychopath. Your memes are outdated as fuck, and your roundabout was lazy. Did I miss anything?
In conclusion, I'm pretty sure Ernie's triumph on Cinematic Venom was better. My advice, get good, faggot.
How dare you? How fucking dare you? You piece of shit cock-ass motherfucker!
It's someone's time of the month.
Shut up before I destroy you too!
Oh, hey, look, it's the proof of my innocence.
What?
Oh, yeah, totally. Silver, meet the one who actually blew up Fuck.
Hey, Eileen. What's from Snake's Revenge and is currently running away?
I have no data of this current being.
You will in a minute.
This is not my day!
Motherfucker, you get back here or I swear to Connie!
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Neros Q. He did 2 videos on Rebel Taxi, a reviewer that doesn't like the Powerpuff Girls reboot. At first, I didn't care all that much. MTR's already put out a commentary on the first video on Rebel Taxi, and to be quite honest, there's probably at least 20 commentaries on the video I'm covering now by this point. But as someone who's currently in the process of reviewing every episode of the reboot, I feel I can still bring new information to the table regardless. I'm also using BoonSlayer so that I can make sure Neros has something to violently murder if he decides I'm worth a response. Let's get started.
Well, I didn't want to do this video any more than I did the first. I feel that it's now mandatory of me. Now, this wasn't supposed to be the next video, but I gotta strike while the iron is hot, or something like that.
Why? No, seriously, why? No one has a gun to your head telling you to make this video. If you feel it's mandatory of you because of your first video where you also criticize the same person for talking about the same subject, and in this review he speaks about the complaints you made, why did you bother making that video if, as you strongly implied with the wording of your statement, you didn't want to do that one either? At least with the first one, you were bringing up things that, according to you, weren't being addressed by others. But now that excuse is out the window since you got the discussion rolling.
Other than adults desperate to recapture their childhoods, was there ever a demand for more Powerpuff Girls?
Probably not, but it is still appreciated.
Okay, great, good job. Who gives a fuck? Seriously, all you're doing is agreeing with him. I'd say that additional statement about appreciating it adds something, but it doesn't. More importantly, based on your comments on Pan's podcast, link in the description, it's 2 hours long, and unfortunately statements made throughout the podcast are relevant to the commentary. The sin counter at the end is apparently something you keep track of, and most of all, actually matters when it comes to the judgment. So, does this count as a sin? If the audience has no way to follow along with your math concerning the sin counter, then all it is an arbitrary number. And if all they have to do is count the interjections, then this interjection definitely shouldn't be here.
Brother Nero! What made the original so unique? And what made this just average?
I'd like to say something important. Here's how much you should be comparing this to the original.
You are absolutely right. The show should stand on its own merits instead of needing to compare to the original. It is allowed to be its own interpretation of the same property. However, comparing to the original to discuss the series as a companion to the original is a good reason to compare the two. And if the writing of the show clashes with the original, considering you agree that the show was made because of nostalgic adults rather than a child audience that wanted it, then it's worth noting as it executes its intended purpose poorly. Also, this is gonna bite you in the ass. A lot.
Brother Nero! It's not the worst cartoon ever. It's just lukewarm.
Well, I guess you could see it as that. I suppose it isn't bad, though. But hey, the original wasn't so great either.
So, you agree with him, and then compare this show to the original. Hey, remember that thing you said literally 25 seconds before this comparison?
Here's how much you should be comparing this to the original.
Oop!
Powerpuff Girls 2016 is the 4th worst cartoon ever made, in no particular order.
Oh. Well, if there's no particular order, then I guess it would be right below the original Powerpuff Girls. And the show must be pretty far down, since it's so good.
Why are you saying that there's an order when he said in no particular order? That's not how words work. Also, remember that thing you said literally 34 seconds before this comparison?
Here's how much you should be comparing this to the original.
I think you need to redraw your OC, and it doesn't look like it represents you well enough. I recommend using this as a reference.
Brother Nero! And even when you look at it as its own separate thing, it's just bland.
Maybe to you, but not to me. Or even a lot of other people, as I've seen.
They don't act bratty. They don't act stupid. They act the way that they were acting before. This looks like Powerpuff Girls. This sounds like Powerpuff Girls and feels like Powerpuff Girls.
Hey, that's weird. Is your example of someone who likes the new show comparing it to the old show? Hey, what was that thing you said 72 seconds before playing that clip? Oh yeah, the two shows shouldn't be compared. What? I'm not going to play the clip for 3 interjections in a row. That'd be dumb and boring. Kind of like Neros' video.
The showrunners went in with the intention to develop the characters more because apparently the old show was, quote, very limited from a storytelling standpoint.
This says it's about 3 girls who are always together and on their own. They're saying that's limiting a character-driving storytelling process, and they want to tell stories more with the characters individually and not always together. Which I can respect, and so should you.
Okay, so what you said and what Pan said are not mutually exclusive things. In fact, they're basically the same thing. First of all, the post that you're showing while saying this was the first one, which didn't even say that the girls were always together. The comment says the things you're saying are the reasons behind what Pan said. And here's the thing. It's not even true. But we'll get to that later.
They basically said, oh yeah, we can do better, when really, they could not.
What questions?
Never gets old. Actually, Pan, they could. And they did. And they'll probably continue to in the future.
Based on what? No, seriously, you're gonna back up that statement? Like, at all? Granted, Pan's about to talk about the characters and you're about to, try and debunk his points, but give some kind of indication why him setting up what he's about to say is wrong, other than, nuh-uh.
Blossom, the commander and leader, she's now Robin from Teen Titans Go or Lisa Simpson, obsessed with every single little thing being perfect. She was like that before, but now it's just too much.
Not even close. Blossom is shown to be smart, and yes, she has also been shown to want things clean, neat, and perfect. But hey, wasn't that Double D's character in Ed, Edd n Eddy? And that was an amazing show. Robin usually wants things to be perfect if the plot of the show commands it. And Lisa is not really that smart. She's more of a teacher's pet.
Oh, why are pine needles pointy? And, what's the difference between an asteroid and a meteor? Can you shrug anything other than your shoulders?
And she's not really that clean either. You ran out of examples, didn't you?
Oh, okay, wow, I could probably do an entire commentary on this one fucking statement. First of all, how is accurately relaying a character trait not even close? I will agree that he's blowing how much of a perfectionist Blossom is out of proportion here, but that is a rather dominant trait, especially in the episodes about her. And yes, those character traits do apply to Double D. And by the way, as Rebel Taxi said, some of this stuff does come up in the original show with Blossom, but we'll get there later, like I said. However, the quality of the writing is what separates a well-written character that utilizes these character traits from a badly written character that uses traits like these as a crutch for the writing rather than a tool. And I can honestly say that it does sometimes happen with Blossom. Although, like I said, I agree that Rebel Taxi's blowing it out of proportion. In addition, Blossom's perfectionism is more central of a trait than her intelligence, as opposed to Double D, whose intelligence is shown more often than his perfectionism. Robin's shown to demand things neat and perfect when the plot demands it? That's funny. So is Blossom. You saying that Robin and Blossom aren't similar in this way is, well, moot. In fact, I see a lot of similarities between the characters myself, but the difference comes in the fact that Robin is more consistently poorly written in the role than Blossom is. And as for Lisa, I'll agree that his comparison isn't the best, even though he's mostly referring to later seasons, but one thing to remember is that The Simpsons, at the end of the day, follows a much more grounded storytelling style than Powerpuff Girls or Teen Titans Go. So saying that Lisa isn't a super genius is an apples to oranges comparison. You don't show any examples of Lisa being fine with something not being neat and orderly either, so good job running out of examples yourself. After all, if Lisa wasn't that clean, you should be able to find her in the show being dirty without having to resort to Rule 34. For that matter, as for Rebel Taxi running out of examples, he didn't even need the examples he gave. His point was that Blossom was a perfectionist to an annoying degree. For that matter, he stated that Blossom was distressingly similar to these two characters. So how many examples were you expecting? Two main characters from current well-known shows is still unoriginal writing, man.
Brother Nero! They shove an unrelated moral about having fun at the right time at the end?
Unrelated? You weren't paying attention, were you? Buttercup was trying to goof off in Miss Keen's class, and when the Powerpuff Girls were trying to stop the panda, he makes Blossom and Bubbles have fun instead of doing their mission. It's a clear comparison.
Actually, it is unrelated, because the moral is at the right time instead of at the expense of others, as implied one time. Never elsewhere in the episode does anything about anyone else's feelings get brought up. So basically, the lesson can come across to some as the fact that the fun was at the expense of others is a moot point, which I didn't put in my review, by the way, because I got what they were getting at, but I see his problem with the presentation.
Brother Nero! How about a moral about respecting your underpaid teacher or not bullying kids?
Oh, perhaps a not bullying kids moral will be made in a future episode. You ever think of that?
Yeah, and maybe a lesson about the effect of chlamydia on the human body will be made in a future episode. I don't know. I'm not a fucking writer on the show, are you? Speculation doesn't prove him wrong. As the point is, once again, that this episode should have been about that and had all the tools in place to tackle that issue.
It's like they wanted to give her more character. She's an a**hole who learns a lesson. Now she's more likable and developed.
Yeah, she learns not to be an a**hole. This episode she learns not to goof off. This episode she learns to control her anger. And in this episode she learns not to take things that aren't hers just because she's mad. You don't pay attention much, do you?
It's clearly you that doesn't pay much attention. See, in the episode in question, Painbow, she doesn't learn not to goof off. She learns that there's a time when you need to stop. And the second episode you bring up, for that matter, Man Up, indicates that she unlearns that lesson that she just learned immediately. You could make the argument that the point is she's allowed to be angry, but not too angry, but it's played like an unlearning of the lesson that was put in place as a joke. Rather than as a lesson, she's learned to balance her emotions better. Only your last example really fits with your narrative. So that thing you keep saying about Rebel Taxi running out of examples? Yeah, that applies to you as well.
This is the equivalent of some jackoff smashing a vase and pasting it together like, look, I fixed it.
Actually, it would have been more of a person breaking a vase because they were fooling around, or out of anger, and then learning why they shouldn't have been messing around, or learning how to control their anger.
You do realize that he's making a direct comparison to a Brady Bunch episode where that happens, right? The point isn't that Buttercup didn't learn, it's that Buttercup is being more of a jerk in the first place than is reasonable in the first place. It's not even a point I agree with, but at least I have enough accuracy to know where the fucking mark is.
Brother Nero!
Oh, okay, Bubbles is not allowed to hurt people, but Buttercup is?
No, neither of them should hurt people, and they learn their lesson by the end of the episode.
Well, if you would have let the original video play, he's talking about Buttercup tripping the kid, which, by the way, I would have a counter-argument for. In fact, even the part I skipped over is about Buttercup tripping the kid, which, by the way, is not the lesson Buttercup learns at the end of the episode.
It's wrong to cause collateral damage out of anger, but to do it when you're in complete control is okay? I guess they're only developed when it's convenient.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Bubbles and Buttercup seem to have hurt innocent bystanders for fun. But one of the issues with your argument is that these bystanders can go on with their day despite what Bubbles and Buttercup did. And in the case of this guy who received broken bones, that was played for a small joke, so it's excusable. I mean, stuff like this happens all the time in cartoons.
Oh, so now you get it. Even though, you know, Blossom actually did scold Buttercup for that, and Rebel Taxi points that out as an instance where Buttercup was scolded. Hell, he didn't even get onto the scene with Bubbles at all. He was just saying that the writing was inconsistent because Buttercup saw no repercussion for tripping that kid from Blossom. Granted, I could explain why Blossom doesn't scold Buttercup here, but that's not my job, at least not in this video. It's yours. By the way, before I go to my skip card, I'd like to note something about your examples of cartoons that have injury-based gags all the time. First of all, Rebel Taxi wasn't complaining about it. Second, the shows you display are shows that are known for slapstick humor, which Powerpuff Girls doesn't generally use on a frequent basis.
Brother Nero!
The show isn't meant to be like Steven Universe or Gravity Falls with an overarching plot. And I suppose in this regard it is similar to Teen Titans Go, where the main, and perhaps only, similarity is how most or all the episodes are non-canon with each other and can be watched in any order.
What does that have to do with the writing being inconsistent between episodes? If the characters act in a different manner from one episode to the next, then it's a problem, whether the show is written with an overarching plot in mind or not. We Bare Bears doesn't have an overarching plot either, but the characters don't act one way in one episode and completely different in another.
It honestly does feel like all the writers had completely separate visions on what they want the show to be.
Well, aside from shoving in all those modern jokes and memes, not really.
Okay, the fact that I agree with you beside the point, what do the modern jokes in the show have to do with the writers having different visions of the show? Either you're saying that they don't use it consistently, which isn't really all that true, as some episodes just don't suit having jokes about modern culture, and even then, we've got jabs at conventional tropes in their place, which is a very modern type of joke to work with, or you're saying that the fact that modern humor is in the show at all shows the writers have different visions. Except it doesn't if all the writers are using it.
There were consequences to the damages done.
Well, Miss Bellum, you can get back to work now.
Sorry about that, Mayor.
Oh, that's okay. You also destroyed my beautiful city. You are flying in a no-fly zone. Land now. They were just playing.
Hey, wait! That was a movie. You can't compare the show to that. It's meant to be more serious and realistic. What? Why are you showing that example again? You're showing the movie again? Oh, I get what's going on. You couldn't find any other examples, so you kept recycling old footage, hoping it would just work and people wouldn't notice. Lazy. You're also showing clips from season 3 and later of the original Powerpuff Girls. The show hasn't even finished its first season, so it's hard to compare it with just 20 episodes as opposed to the 80 episodes of the original series.
Oh goody, another point I could do a full commentary on. Why yes, Rebel Taxi is allowed to bring up the movie because the fact that it's a movie does not mean it's meant to be taken more seriously. Yes, Craig decided to go on a more serious route with the movie, but there was no reason he couldn't have decided to keep its tone the same, or even sillier in fact, than the show. The SpongeBob movie is an example of the movie that doesn't take itself more seriously than the source material. This is also the canonical origin story for the original series, so it establishes the tone of the series as a whole. And by your logic, the episode Town and Out is also a serious-toned episode, but you don't call him out for using that. And he didn't run out of examples. He only used the most overt examples, those being the ending to Uh-Oh Dynamo, even though the professor was the one punished for that, Town and Out, and the movie, which again is the origin story, thus an indication of the show's overall message. And now your argument concerning what season the footage is from. First of all, stop lying. Uh-Oh Dynamo was from Season 1. It was the last episode of Season 1, but it was still Season 1. And Rebel Taxi only showed the clips that specifically called out the girls for property destruction. That being said, once again, you say we shouldn't compare a series with 20 episodes to a show with 80 episodes. Why did you do it earlier in this very video?
It's straight up just superheroes with the flaws the original ridiculed.
Well, perhaps they'll include issues like collateral damage in a future episode.
Once again, speculation. It doesn't debunk his point that the show didn't address tropes of the superhero genre from the onset. You also fail to factor in that the reboot claims to have more advanced writing than the original show. Not the first season of the original show, but the original show in its entirety.
I never thought these girls could be more simple, but they found a way. They found a way.
They're not simple. They've been shown as individual characters with their own defining personality and traits. The original sort of meshed them together, so it was relatively hard to figure out a specific personality for each girl.
Simple does not mean that characters don't have their own traits. Simple traits are still traits. Also, no. Here's a list of episodes from the first 22 episodes of the Powerpuff Girls that revolve around one of the girls more than the others. Octa-Evil, Buttercrush, Boogie Frights, Abracadaver, Paste Makes Waste, Eyesore, Bubble Vicious. Not to mention the episode The Bare Facts, in which the girls each recount a story about how they rescued the mayor, and all of their accounts are different.
Brother Nero!
They're admitting they're trying to have more developed characters when, really, they're just way more in your face with their personality.
I think their personalities are more present there than in your face.
And he thinks the personalities are more in your face. He's making a review, so the fact that he's stating his opinion is implied. Congratulations! What you've done here is make a no-you argument. Master TP10 will be arriving in 30 minutes to collect his royalty check.
There's so much focus on the girls that we never see much from anyone else in Townsville.
Maybe that's because they ran away in this shot. I mean, if a giant monster was attacking, wouldn't you run off while a superhero took care of it?
4 people and a dog. It's not exactly the type of numbers I would expect to be running away in the city, not even in the middle of the night. Especially since this monster already heavily damaged one building, so anyone in that building, or in a nearby building for that matter, that survived would probably be running away.
This cartoon is going to be a lot of kids' first introduction to Powerpuff Girls.
And it's a great introduction! Look, shows like Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, Courage the Cowardly Dog, SpongeBob, and Megas XLR are all shows I grew up watching, and they all have background characters that aren't developed, collateral damage, and practically everything you've complained about. All I'm trying to say is that, as a whole, this show is good. Comparisons to the original shouldn't be made.
You know, which is why you said it was better than the original earlier. You know, which is why you skipped over parts that gave context to what he's saying. Namely that it feels he relies too much on knowing the original show. Which is the next point you bring up.
Brother Nero!
It relies way too much on you knowing the original when a reboot shouldn't do that.
No, it doesn't. I think you just can't get the idea of the original out of your head, and you really shouldn't be doing that. Sure, the narrator doesn't introduce the old villains like in the old show, but then again, he also doesn't introduce the new villains.
He didn't say anything about the narrator introducing villains, especially since the narrator very rarely introduced the villain, especially if they showed up after the opening scene. Your point here has nothing to do with what Pan's even saying.
But for a new generation, they're just like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, they won't know who he is, and the growiness of how he looks now will help emphasize his true evil nature and power in later episodes.
They give away the punchline to the joke for the old fans before giving the setup to those who didn't see the original. Him being girly here doesn't emphasize anything. It's just here as a joke.
Why does this rich girl want to hang out with the Powerpuff Girls, and how come they don't let her?
She later explains that she wants to be a Powerpuff Girl, so yeah, no explanation right now is needed.
Actually, she explains immediately that she wants to be a Powerpuff Girl. What? Just because you debunked Pan doesn't mean you did a good job of it.
Why are they so mean to her?
Because you learn that the girls know she's spoiled and, dare I say, evil?
I just realized that your entire argument for why the characters are well established is because they're established later. That's not how storytelling works. You do get the impression of Morbuck's personality from the outset through her mannerisms, which is setting up a character. But the fact that they explain later on its own doesn't really prove anything. And by the way, there's a better reason for them already being mean. Namely that she's trying to replace their sister. Why did you not say this? I thought you watched the show!
Think about what you learned from the old intro. It's 1 minute long, but in just the first 30 seconds, you learn the ingredients, sugar, spice, everything nice, and chemical X, creative superpower girls who dedicate their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil.
Also, what's cool is without saying a word, you get an idea on what these girls are like.
I'm sorry. The boredom and non-musical theme of this intro must have put me to sleep. Yeah, the intro of the original show explained what made the Powerpuff Girls, and you do get a glimpse into their personality with the musical tracks, but admittingly, that wasn't very entertaining. I remember hating this intro when compared to the song intros of Ed, Edd n Eddy, Fairly OddParents, and Chalk Zone.
You don't like it. Therefore, nobody likes it.
So yeah, the new intro is better. But I guess I would prefer it if the sugar, spice, and everything nice was kept in the TV airings.
Wait! Back the fuck up! So you're saying that the original intro, which was the opening exposition followed by music, was boring. But you would prefer if the music in the new version were preceded by the opening exposition. I'd make it the same, but with different music!
In this intro, all we know is the girls fight crime, have powers, that's it.
I'm fine with this intro only showing the girls and only explaining that they're superheroes that fight crime. And if I want to know more about their personalities, then I'll watch the show.
Didn't you just say that you'd prefer if the opening exposition were in the TV airings? Also, the visuals in the intro also give subtle indications of the girls' characters. Like I said, just because you debunked him, which didn't, you basically just said your opinion is more important than his, doesn't mean you did it right.
Reboot does the day is saved at the end, but only on some episodes, and most of the time they do it, it's the twist.
Yeah, that is weird. Why don't they use the narrator's day is saved segment at the end of every episode? Look, I see what you mean with this segment, and for the most part, I actually agree with you. But the thing is, it's definitely ignorable. If kids don't get it now, then they will learn to get it. And if it bothers you, then you can ignore it. And it's not like it was an important segment in the first place.
No, but as a reviewer, it's his job to point out the small things that make the show less of an enjoyable and/or fulfilling experience. And once again, saying new fans will get it later does not help the quality of the show. Aren't you the one who's saying this shouldn't be compared to the original? Then maybe the fact that a new fan wouldn't get it in the first place is a negative. Which is something a reviewer should be pointing out.
Brother Nero!
I like Teen Titans Go, since that's different enough to be its own separate thing from Teen Titans.
I get what you're trying to say, but the true sad thing is, well, that you're wrong. Teen Titans Go tried to do a separate thing and not involve the original. However, they have shown that time and time again, they want us to think that this show is actually better than the original.
So, the writers of the Powerpuff Girls reboot say they're trying to develop characters and tell stories in a better way than the original, but stands on its own. Meanwhile, a show that tries to be different, to the point of going to a completely different genre, wants to be the same as the original. I'm not even a fan of Teen Titans Go, but I fucking know the purpose of those jokes is not to compare itself to the original, but instead troll people who do compare it to the original.
Brother Nero! Powerpuff 2016 is just Diet Powerpuff Girls.
I think it's more of a different brand.
Which is why your opinion is better than his.
Brother Nero!
Wait, did I seriously just need another goddamn...
Makes you say, what's the point? Just watch the old show. What's the point? Just watch the old show. Watch the old show. Watch the old show. Watch the old show.
Brother Nero! This new show does a lot better than the old show. In terms of dialogue, character development, and especially animation. I suppose the original could have better jokes, but this series has some good ones as well.
You just went from calling them equals to basically saying the new show is better than the old show. Also, remember this thing you said?
Here's how much you should be comparing this to the original.
See, when he says it doesn't matter, just watch the old show, your response should be,
okay, sure, if you don't want to give something new a chance and wallow in your own nostalgia, you can do that. But I'll be over here actually enjoying modern life. Have fun with your dial-up internet.
Do you see how much less contradictory that sounds?
Sure, the new series has more detailed backgrounds and a flashier intro, but there's no substance to it.
There is substance. You just choose to ignore it.
Yes, quite. Your butthole is not nearly as refined as my butthole.
Brother Nero! Memes, twerking.
As for the twerking...
We're gonna distract them with our booty shake to dance move.
Shake, shake, shake.
Big butt, so what?
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, stop. Everybody shake your rear end.
Yeah, I saw it as more of a harmless butt-shaking dance.
You know, I would say this is a case of you shoving your opinion down people's throats, but, yeah, no, this is just you getting your facts wrong. You see, twerking is characterized by an up and down motion, as opposed to a side-to-side motion associated with booty shaking. So, only 2 of those that you showed would even be described as similar to twerking. The clip from Chowder and the clip from Steven Universe. There are those who take issues with these scenes, especially the Chowder one, since Steven Universe at least has the excuse that Amethyst is actually 6,000 years old. I agree with you that it's not that big of a deal, especially given the context that it's used in, but to say it's not the same dance move is not a defense when it's the same dance move.
I've seen commenters defend this as a way to modernize it for kids today.
What? I'm not going to defend that. He's right. But didn't you already say that earlier in this review?
Bubbles, the joy and the laughter. She loves memes and ponies and unicorns and yes!
Oh god, you're repeating yourself now?
No, he's not. He stated that an aspect of Bubbles' character was that she likes meme. Now he's stating the explanation that people gave for why that could be the case. It's not repetition, it's elaboration. Something I noticed you to be very bad at. The only other thing in this whole damn video is Nero saying that the viewer should not bring up something he has fault with, thus telling a reviewer to not do his job. So I'm ending it here. Oh, yeah, he also does this. This video at first didn't bother me that much. Then I watched it a second time, and I got pissed off enough to make this commentary. Then I got even more mad as I was writing this script, as you provide nothing but speculation, opinions that you for some reason think counter opinions, and blatantly wrong facts about the original show, and a giant helping of hypocrisy to go along with it. I won't be surprised if I want to strangle you by the time I'm done editing this, although I doubt it since I'll no longer have to register my brain, the garbage spewing from your mouth, and instead just focus on making sure the clips line up. Neros, I have some advice for you. Read over your script before you actually make the video. In fact, maybe have someone else read over your script. I'm sure if you had a second pair of eyes on the thing, they probably would have caught all the time you use comparisons to the original show as standalone points when you're preaching how the new show shouldn't be compared to the original show. Especially since you're planning on doing more of these, and since you plan on covering JonTron and others, I get the impression that if you don't get your shit straight, it won't be pretty when you deal with someone with a 2 million subscriber fan base. Good luck, but seriously. You've got a lot of work before you can tackle the type of stuff you want to tackle successfully.